What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to RC Car Garage, and as you guys can see on the table here, we have a BMW X6. So this is going to be a new project that I'm going to be starting. I've had this guy in my office here for a while, and I just figured, you know what, perfect time to start this build. And I'm actually been dying to start this build. This I ended up finding at the thrift store. Forget how much I paid for it, but I figured this is going to be one interesting build that I'm going to be doing. If you guys like these videos that I'm doing with these builds like this, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell so I can do more projects like this and end up making more videos for you guys. So this guy, I'm really excited to start. Now, the chassis that I'm going to be using for this is actually this guy right here. So, as you guys see, FCX18 Land Cruiser LC80 V2. I ended up picking this guy up on Amazon for $119, which was a very good price compared to the price that they normally are, which is this. I figured $119 for this guy was pretty dang good. Now, the issue that I'm having with these two is that the wheelbase on the X6 is a lot longer compared to the LC80, so I have to make the chassis longer on this guy to make the wheelbase. What I actually did, I believe I got these on Amazon or I got them directly from FMS. FCX18, the Hummer EV, the Chevy K10 chassis rails, and as you guys can see, it's basically the same length as the X6, which is perfect. That's what I was looking for, was the K10 or the Hummer EV, but this guy, $119, great deal. So I'm going to start off with basically taking this guy apart and try to mesh them together. So stay tuned and let's go on with this. So in the back here, you got two screws that you have to remove. All right, so those bumpers are not going to be needed. And here we go, is what I'm going to be working with. Now, let me go on ahead and start taking this guy apart and figure out how this is all going to work. Actually, yeah. All right. So one of the things that I'm thinking about doing with this is probably cutting a channel here in the middle so that the chassis will basically sit in there. Because if you guys see on the side right here, it has these rails here on both sides, and I gotta be careful when I take this apart because the back of it, you see all this plastic is molded onto the bumper, and on the front is the exact same thing. So I gotta be careful how I end up doing that. But let's just start taking everything apart. Alright, so those are the only screws. There we go. Alright, and it is off. So basically all of this in here I'm going to have to remove. I am not going to need any of this stuff in here, but I am going to try to keep basically the outside part of this chassis, because basically it's gonna see, as you guys can see here, all that's missing in the back now, all that is missing. So I want to try to get this to be in here without having to lose the body without having to lose the interior, because this thing does end up having a full interior in here. So I gotta try to figure out a way to get this body on here without losing that interior. I believe the battery might end up having to get moved. Yeah, that just looks a little ridiculous, doesn't it? So that's kind of sort of what I'm going for. But I need to make it a lot longer. So what can I do here? I might have to get into the body with this guy. I might have to get into, yeah, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to get into the interior for this guy to work. I might have to go into the floorboard here. I might have to cut out the floorboard, a little bit of the floorboard down here to make this guy work. But now that I got that off, move this guy over to the side. Gonna continue with this. So what I'm gonna have to do is these chassis rails, remove these chassis rails, and swap everything over to these chassis rails. Alright guys, so as you guys can see, I do have one chassis rail on. It's not fully on, I didn't screw it all in yet, but you guys can see the biggest difference compared to the stock one. This rail is a heck of a lot longer, as you guys can see right there. Hopefully you guys can see it, but this rail is a heck of a lot longer. So I'm going to continue on ahead and transfer over the next chassis rail onto here, and I will be right back with you guys. Alright you guys, and here is where I have gotten to so far with the X6. What should we call this? The X6 Trail Runner? Actually, I kind of like that. The X6 Trail Runner. I think that's going to be the name for this guy. The X6 Trail Runner. This is where I have gotten to so far with it. The chassis is not secure onto this thing. It is temporarily in place. So what I did is, you guys can see right there, I actually used hot glue to hold the chassis in place so that I can measure out my links and put the links in. I'm still working on getting the upper links made and installed. I do have one link here that I ended up making completely out of brass. These links are all out of brass that I'm using to make these links. Does it look weird with the silver links in the front, brass in the back? A little bit. Do I care? No, not really. As long as this thing works and does what it has to do. And what this thing is actually meant to be is a trail rig. Literally a trail rig. I'm not expecting this thing to climb up any rocks or anything, even though it might. I'm not expecting it, but it might. So that is my intention with this thing. So what I did, I'll show you guys what I ended up doing. On the bottom here, I cut that whole bottom out. On the top here, on the back, ended up going up to right about here where these two things are. That's where the muffler was. So I ended up cutting that out to get the chassis to sit in here. And as you guys can see, where I ended up putting the hot glue for, right about there. So where I ended up putting the hot glue, where the chassis is sitting on, that right here is all the interior. So that's where the chassis is sitting. It's literally sitting on the interior. And as you guys can see, where it's sitting at right here is the belly of the transmission. Now, I don't know if I want to keep that the way it is, or if I want to lower, or in this case, it would be raise the chassis into the body a little bit more. But in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to cut into the interior, and I kind of don't want to. I've already cut enough into the interior, as you guys can see right about there. Sorry for the lighting, you guys. Why is it so dark? But as you guys can see, right in there is the motor, and I did some chopping into it. Not exactly too happy about that, but I had to cut so the motor would end up going into it, or else this guy would literally be sitting about there, and that's not my intention. I think the hot glue is starting to come apart. And again, the reason I do have the hot glue in here is just so I can make the links for this guy that I'm working on. So the only thing that was holding me up was end links. The end links I used for the lower links, I took off of the stock links that came from the FCX18 to make my own links, as you guys can see. So I had to order some M2 end links that you got right here. I ordered it from this company here that is on Amazon. If you were looking for end links, M2 end links, I'll put a link in the description down below. These links do end up helping the channel, you guys, so please use those links. It does help us out, help me out, so I can make more videos like this for you guys. I'm still trying to figure out a way on how I'm going to mount the chassis onto this contraption here. So it's either A, I'm going to be using magnets, B, I'm going to try to make some clip system like the TRX4 has. Something, I don't know yet. I really don't know how I'm going to make it yet. As of right now, I'm one thing at a time. I'm trying to get these links made and installed so I can have the rear axle, because you guys can see the rear axle is literally just moving around. But again, I was waiting on these guys to come in so I can make the upper links for this guy. So that's where I am at so far. So I do have the drive shaft for the K10 that I gotta put on here so that this thing will drive. All in all, you guys, I'm having fun with this one. I'm really having fun with this one. And I'm sneezing right now like crazy, and it's getting a little annoying. For right now, I do have, as you guys can see, the Ascent 18 wheels and tires on here. I'm contemplating whether I want to go 1.3s, which is that right there. So I'm contemplating whether I want to go 1.3 or I want to stick with the 1.0s. I'm not 100% sure yet. I got to be careful with tire, because right now there is a little bit of rubbing with the 1.0s, and I think that with the 1.3s it's going to rub a little bit more, but it might not. I don't know yet. So you guys let me know down in the comment section below. Should I stick with the 1.0s and get bigger tires, or go 1.3? Here's what 1.3s will look like. Here's the 1.0s. Here's the 1.3s. Let me know down in the comment section below what I should do. 1.3s or 1.0s. I was actually thinking 1.2. I know Mias has 1.2 wheels that I was actually looking at, because I think the 1.3s are going to be a little bit too big. But 1.3s, I do have more tire options, and 1.0s, I do have more tire options than I do with the 1.2s. So let me know down in the comment section below what I should do, 1.3s or 1.0s or 1.2s. You just got to remember, there's more tire options with the 1.3s and the 1.0s than there are with the 1.2s. So let me know, you guys, down in the comment section below. As of right now, that's all I have for this video. I'm going to continue working on this. I do want to do something with the shocks, because as of right now, with the way this guy is sitting, the shocks are drooped all the way down. I mean, it does have a little bit of suspension, but they're basically drooped all the way down. If the chassis was to, if the shocks were to sit, be able to carry the body, that's where it's going to be sitting. But I want it to sit right about there. I think that right there is where it should be. So, guys, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think I should do, and all that with the wheels and the suspension. I don't want this thing looking too much like a 4x4. I think that right there is just way too high for it. I don't think it will look right. But that right there, I think, is going to look great. I think that is exactly where it should be, instead of it being all the way up there. So let me know down in the comment section, guys. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for part 2 of this build. See you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Keep RCing.